Hi Scorpio, welcome to your November 2016 love reading. I am using a new spread that I got off of Pinterest. I didn't realize what a wealth of information you can find there. I thought it was just pictures and stuff, but they actually have, many different spreads that other people have devised, and it's given me ideas. I use a spread that I created myself, but that's almost kind of a little silly because I did get ideas for some of the different areas to mention in a spread from other spreads. So I sometimes like to change things up a little bit, so that's what I'm going to be doing this month. And this is called the 7-card progression, and so we'll see what it happens. Now, of course, this is dealing with love, so we'll see what transpires with it. I don't know if you can see this. Probably not. Okay. Very nice outcome. So in the past position, we have the 5 of Wands. So this is a card of competition. And this could be with a partner. This could be you, having some kind of battle, but it's not really a very serious one. It just could be one-upmanship with a partner where both of you were trying to either be in control of the relationship or possibly in the position of the more successful one. So this comes up too with relationships where one person feels that the other person is actually more successful. And so this could be with somebody specifically who was a fire sign. And this would be a Leo, which seems to be a lot of Scorpios seem to be attracted to Leos. Or it could possibly be an Aries individual or a Sagittarian. And in those kinds of relationships, especially with a sign like Leo, which is another fixed sign, there is a tendency, since it forms a square with Scorpio, to be like butting heads. And that's kind of what we see with that kind of a card. It's almost like the Bickersons, It might have been more... It's interesting. Maybe with the 5 of Swords, it would be more of a verbal thing. Maybe this is more combative in terms of ambition. And, especially if you're talking about gender, and if it's a male-female relationship, the issues, if you are a female Scorpio, and of course this reading can also apply to the rising sign. I suppose some people are watching for the rising sign. I never say to watch for the rising sign or the moon sign, because to me it's different than astrology. But I know that some people may be a rising Scorpio instead, and maybe you have a sun sign and a fire sign as well as, and that's why you're with another fire sign. And there's that sense of ambition that's associated with the Wands, because it is in the element of fire. So these kinds of things, the basic energy of that card is one of kind of a lot of disharmony, to say the least. And, not feeling on an equal footing, having to prove yourself, that sort of thing. Maybe that was the other thing, having to kind of feel like you had to compete with other people. And of course that could also relate to if you have a partner who is cheating, where you felt like you had to compete with somebody else. That's another type of similar scenario. Now, in that situation, you may have, the card that represents how you saw yourself is the Emperor. So this is a card of somebody in power. So you know what this makes me feel like? It makes me feel like a lot of you were actually the ones who were more successful, and you were with somebody who was possibly a little bit envious. And sometimes you may not even know that this is happening. They may try to, cut you down for other reasons, and it's really because they're trying to, lower you so that they can feel like they are on an equal footing with you. And so they might have just shown that they were you might have just seen them as being verbally abusive, perhaps. And really, it was all stemming from the fact that they felt envy of your success. Now, on the other hand, the Emperor could be that you are being too controlling, and maybe you are, creating an environment where you have expectations of your partner that have nothing to do with love. You may want them to be more competitive in their own field. Maybe you were trying to get them to be more ambitious, and that kind of plagued your relationship. What you learned from that is represented by the Seven of Cups. And this is a card that represents choices, about making a wise choice. And so if you were in a dysfunctional relationship, you may have had to learn that sometimes we pick partners based on our own weaknesses, our own vulnerabilities at that moment. And it could be that, for some people, and this could certainly be true for Scorpio, because you are a power-seeking sign. Depending on your other signs and planets, you may have, like, for instance, a lot of Pisces or other energy, maybe even Virgo, that makes you a lot less assertive and makes you a lot less the typical Scorpio. But for the typical Scorpio, they are power-seeking, as symbolized by the Emperor card. And the Seven of Cups may be saying that you need to choose your relationships for the right reasons. And if you find yourself attracted to a partner because of them being more passive and therefore controllable, you will end up disrespecting them. And that's not a good situation. I'm going to pull this back a little bit if I can. And sorry about that. And you're going to possibly be involved with somebody that is easily controlled, but perhaps not someone you consider your equal, or that the other person's going to become very resentful because they're going to feel like they are in your shadow. And especially if the Scorpio is a woman, that can be, problematic if you're dealing with a man and his ego feels like he is, inferior to you in some way. Like, for instance, you earn more money than him or something like that. Or your job, you are a teacher and he is a janitor, those kinds of issues. Now, your current situation. This is either somebody that you're involved with now or some aspect of yourself. This could be a person. It's a court card. So this could be maybe a male who is an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, or they have that kind of airy signature in their astrological chart, and they are, primarily geared towards the mind instead of, being kind of an earth sign or very earthy or practical, something like that. So this is somebody who is an intellectual type of person. Maybe you have met them. I had mentioned being a teacher. So, if somebody is a teacher, maybe you met them on the job. But it's just, this could be a person who's maybe cooler than the person that you were with. That other person may have been a hothead. And so you were butting heads, you were getting involved in a lot of drama in that relationship, and now you're kind of coming out of it. And but this could be a facet of yourself for sure, and this could be you being a lot more with the element of air. You're not being your typical emotional self, where you are just guided by or ruled by your emotions, but maybe you are learning to be more detached, learning to not be so, that what I always say about Scorpio, the fixed water sign, that tendency to be emotional in a very subjective way. Emotions can be objective, and that's what's called passion. When you just have a general sense of joy or of interest in something beyond yourself, that's passion. When it's something that is personal to you, that is emotion, right? That's the difference. And so the passion is more of the fiery energy, and the water is more personalized or subjective to your life particularly. And this is about you kind of like stepping back a little bit and not being so subjective and seeing everything from your own, little universe, but you're seeing it from a much more, maybe even a bigger perspective. And that's good, because that will make it easier for you to feel in control of yourself, because you're a very intense sign and you have a tendency to, be all or nothing, very intense and very extreme is how I would describe Scorpio, because you're not like, well, I don't know if I really like this. You're like, if you have a Libran friend, then you're probably laughing right now, because a Libran if you ask a Libran their opinion on something, a lot of times they will say, I don't know, what do you think about it? They can see all sides of an issue, and you're like, are you crazy? I totally hate that, or I totally love that, because you don't see things in a gray way. You're very black and white, and this is how you view other people as well. This person is more, I think, even though this is a very kind of a chaotic energy, because it still is the night, so there's a lot of zealous energy in the way that you are thinking and promoting your ideas, you still have this detachment that allows you to not take a side necessarily when it comes to, to be kind of like stepping back instead of being, this is all about me. And so I think that's actually a very good thing for Scorpios, to have that part of them. I'm trying to think about, okay. The upcoming influence is going to be the Six of Pentacles. This could mean that you meet actually literally that you might meet an earth sign or somebody with that predominantly in their makeup. And this is like very good for you, because water nourishes the earth. So this would be a Taurus or a Virgo or Capricorn. And if you look at the man, he's holding scales, so it's going to be more of a balanced relationship. I feel like some of you had a relationship in the past that was imbalanced, where maybe you were contributing more to it, and the other person, maybe they felt like they couldn't contribute because they were looking at it just from a dollars and cents perspective, or just even on an intellectual level. Maybe your relationship was based on things other than real compatibility, and so you weren't on equal footing in that sense. And I feel like you're going to have a more stable relationship, and so that's good. It's also a card of generosity, so maybe there'll be more of that in a future relationship. And I think that there just seems like it will be more, when I say stable, I'm thinking of the past the number 5 is instability. There's something, up in the air about the number 5. It's all about change. And this one is about building a foundation. The number 6 relates to home and family and love. So this could be about you really building that with another person, and it being a very tangible thing, being connected to that earth element. This is how they will affect you. Now, it's funny because the 4 of Cups typically relates to, when people interpret this card, they think of somebody being emotionally flat and disinterested, and you see in the heavens are offering this person a cup, and he's like, just staring right through it. Could care less. Could not care less. And actually, the 4 of Cups, from something I read not too long ago, which kind of was good to see that. The number 4 represents stability. I had mentioned the 6 of Pentacles as stability, but actually that is more of peace. The 4 is the number of structure. So when you get to the 4 of Cups, it can mean a relationship, because the cups relate to water signs, therefore emotions, that is going to be a stable relationship. It's like, and this is the trick though, Scorpio, you have to make sure that your relationships are not ones where you feel like if it's stable and everything is going, smoothly, that you don't go, oh God, this is like, I'm like the negative connotation of this card, where you're disinterested unless there's a lot of drama, unless the person is cheating on you and you don't know which end is up. If that's what constitutes an exciting relationship for you, then, to me, you have it kind of warped, and you need to rearrange your thinking pattern on that, because some people, especially if they grew up with a lot of chaos, they can get bored very easily in a stable relationship, and that's on them. I mean, that's kind of like something you have to get right within yourself, because you will keep choosing people who will always keep you on the edge of your seat, but not in a good way. And, one of the things about being attracted to someone is understanding the difference between passion and drama. And drama is always going to make you feel insecure and, in a negative place, anxious. Passion is going to make you feel more alive in a good way, and it's going to make you feel more connected to everything around you. Drama tends to disconnect us. We might kind of stay away from people that we love because we're so immersed in the negative behavior that is happening, that we kind of are trying to control the other person. We get really codependent, and we're always if somebody's cheating on you and you're you're always nervous about it, you're always checking and snooping and stuff, that's not passion, that's drama, and that's destructive. And so when you can tell the difference, then you appreciate when something is stable, and you see that as the normal, as the desirable, instead of the dull, So that's with that card. And the final outcome, well, it doesn't get much better than this. True love. It can relate to anything. The Sun is the yes card. It's the affirmation from the universe that, that you have wanted. It represents love. It represents success in whatever endeavor. In this case, this is love that you're looking for. And I think it's also finding the person that is right for you versus just a new face in the crowd, And it can indicate a Leo, interestingly enough, because I had just talked about you and Leo. The Sun rules the sign of Leo. And so that's always a possibility. And but in general, it just is something that is telling you, it's like a green light from the universe that all is well, or all will be well at some point. And, you know, as you see the cards, you can see that there may have been some drama or upheaval in the past, but things, you know, calm down, and then happiness ensues. So all's well that ends well, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed this. If you are interested in a private reading, click on the link below where I have my website. Otherwise, have a romantic November. Bye.